Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
This fight that we're going to get into in the strawweight division between Karolina Kowalkiewicz and Denise Gomes.
Yes.
So this is really, you got a fighter in Karolina that's been around for the longest, pretty much from the start of the division, from the start of the featherweight division. And she started in 2015 to now. She had kind of like a mini retirement for a little bit, and then she came back because, she lost like a gang of fights in a row. But they were all to the best fighters in the division.
Yeah, great fighters.
When you get on the losing streak, I feel like, you kind of lose motivation in a way. Like, it almost like maybe you could get the feeling of, like, am I the old generation now?
Right.
And I'm not good enough to fight against the newer generation. Those things start to creep in.
Yeah.
And then after that, she knocked off 4 in a row.
Yeah, she sure did.
Yeah.
But from what I can see, not very notable names.
That's the
win
thing.
Streak. Yeah.
When she was fighting the best in the world, she was losing.
Yeah.
Right? Still like going to decision and all that, but most of the fights she clearly lost those fights.
Right.
Or she was finished, and then she started to face off against kind of like the mid-tier, lower-tier strawweights and winning those fights. And then in her last fight, she actually ran into Lucindo, who is like one of the hot prospects coming up in the division.
A newcomer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening here again is that Karolina, she's kind of like the gatekeeper now, and she's running into Denise Gomes, who's actually like a berserker, if you look at her style.
Yeah.
She's
a power puncher, right?
Power puncher.
Yeah.
She takes risks. She's 3-2 in the UFC. She's 1-0 in the contenders. Her only losses are to Loma and Angela Hill.
Yeah.
And both of those were decision losses.
Right.
She does have a sick knockout over Yasmin. I think Yasmin was in Bangtao for a while training.
Was she?
Yeah, she's the girl from Mexico.
Oh.
UFC strawweight. I'm pretty sure you saw her when she was here.
Yeah. I think I did.
This was like last year maybe or earlier this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Gomes, she's been impressive, I thought. Like for the lack of experience, and in MMA, especially women's MMA, you don't really see fighters like Gomes that are like neck tattoo. You know what I mean? Like she got a neck tattoo.
Oh yeah, she looks tough for sure.
And she fights like that.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think of Karolina? Like, do you feel like she's, I'm not gonna say old, but like.
Well, she's 39. And I mean, she's been in the UFC for almost a decade, right? I find it interesting because we haven't really seen this as much in women's MMA. We've seen it a lot in the men's divisions where we have these older veterans and then these newcomers, and you see the clash between like. And I'm not going to say that Karolina is a bad fighter. I'm just going to say that women's MMA has developed a lot. And I think, you get these younger girls, they're coming in, they've got cardio on their side, they've got the youth on their side, and they're also probably training smarter, And so it's interesting now to see that dynamic, in women's MMA. Even though there are some fighters who are, there are some women fighters who are in their 40s or late 30s that are still kicking and still doing amazing, but that being said, they might have started their career a little later. Like Angela Hill, for example, she's the same age as Karolina, but she's still fast as fuck, and she's going in there with the younger fighters. But someone like Karolina has been around for a very long time, and you can kind of see she's not, like, with her last fight, she just didn't have that speed, she didn't have that cardio, and maybe she doesn't have that skill, you know. Maybe it's time to think that I don't know. I hate to say it, but you know, she's been around for a long time and she's done good things, but we're just seeing now this this difference in training and in style, and obviously it's coming out in the fighting, and it's interesting to see, but it sucks to see as well, because you know, Karolina was a good fighter in her time. I think, you know, at one point she was fighting for the title, right?
Yeah, she did.
But as the sport develops, you know, you get people coming in who are 22, 24, like Denise Gomes, and just fucking people up.
Yeah, and finishing people, you know, in spectacular fashion. Yeah, she did fight for the title in 2016 against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Clearly lost that fight. You know what I mean? It seems like for Karolina, she's really good, but when she reaches the cream of the crop, that's when she kind of starts to fade in a lot of the fights. Like the what is it called? The deficiencies come out in her style, because it's not like she has power, right? It's not like she has power. She's more of like from watching her fight, she's more of like a technical striker.
Yeah, she's a technical kickboxer, really, right?
Yeah,
and that's another thing, is you see a lot of these women who have, say, been in women's MMA, and a lot of the veterans have started in like kickboxing, or they started in grappling and then they go into MMA, whereas some of these younger girls have just started with MMA and they've just developed a game entirely for MMA.
True, you're right.
You're right.
Right.
Which is interesting to see too. So
yeah, I think what I see from Karolina is like she's had a good run since she returned in 2022. You know, she's 4-1 since then, right?
Yeah, she's done good.
But like you said, the girls that she's beating are kind of like the mid-tier, who've been around for a while. They're not like the prospects in the division.
Yeah.
Which Lucinda was the prospect in the division in her last fight. She lost that fight by decision, and I feel like in this one she's facing off against another prospect in the division, young, hungry, and this one, what's dangerous about her is she has that killer instinct.
Yeah.
And she's going to throw bombs until she lands something.
Yeah. 100%.
And I feel like that's what's going to happen in this fight. It's going to be a striking battle. I could see Denise maybe, you know, trying to grapple a little bit.
I don't know. I mean, I watched her last fight, and I don't think grappling is her strong suit, which I always find so interesting when it's Brazilian fighters, because, you know, you think Brazilian, you just think Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You think they've, like, grown up with it. Yeah. But, yeah, no, she's heavy on the striking. I think if anything, if Karolina wants to win, then Karolina should grapple. But I don't think that's her strong suit either. I really don't see a way for Karolina to win, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Gomes probably has the strength advantage as well. You know, she's 24. Yeah. Karolina's 39. You know what I mean? Like, I'm older. If I went against a 24-year-old, like, I would just get mopped up. You know what I mean? Like, the strength advantage would be just tremendous. And I feel like the strength advantage will be crazy in this fight. And when they do grapple, if they grapple, Gomes will be able to, like, fight out of positions just because she is stronger, younger, faster. And, you know, the style that Karolina has, it could last for a long time until you start to hit the next generation. Yeah. And I think that's what's happening now. I feel like, you know, like you said, you know, she's near retirement, and that's possibly true. Age, you know, skill set diminishing, and you could only take so much damage, you know, to your face or to your body until you decide, like, hey, it's not good for me. I think Gomes goes in there, and either she wins like a brutal decision, like it's just gonna be brutal, like, you know, she's just gonna beat the shit out of her, or she finishes her, because clearly Gomes has power. Yeah. You know what I mean? She knocked out Yasmin. Man, I forgot how do you say her last name, but she's the Mexican prospect. She was the Mexican prospect, and Gomes went in there and knocked her out in 20 seconds. Right. And then Gomes is, you know, the prospect now. She's, you know, even though her last fight was a split decision, but she fought Eduarda Mora, who's really good.
Yeah, like, and really big for that division.
Yeah, actually, that's right. She missed weight.
Oh, she
Mora
did. Okay.
missed weight, Now Mora's fighting at flyweight in her next fight.
Okay. Yeah, because it clearly looked like they were two different divisions.
Yeah, and Gomes beat her.
Yeah.
It shows you that how strong Gomes is, right?
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
Even if they get into clinch or whatever, Gomes is gonna do her thing. Yeah, it's hard to pick against a girl with a neck tattoo, but in this one, I think Gomes is gonna do her thing. I think this will be like a very good showcase fight for her, kind of redeeming herself for that Angela Hill loss.
Yeah.
But Angela Hill's tough, man. She's tough to beat.
Yeah. No, see, like, that's the thing is Angela Hill's 39 as well, but she did start her career a little later, right? So it's not even necessarily to do with the actual age. It's kind of like your fighting age, more or less, right? Karolina's been in there for a long time. She's gotten some hard matches over the last 9 years. So that takes a toll, on your body. So she's kind of like the gatekeeper, but the gatekeeper for like the top 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the test for Gomes. Is she ready for the top 15?
Yeah.
If she can finish Karolina or, have a dominant win, she proves that she can, mix it up with the best of the best. She's a minus 430 favorite.
Damn.
Gomes is. That not much, not much, support for Karolina.
No.
Because pretty much what we were just talking about, I'm pretty sure everybody, that's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
If you look at the tail of the tape, they're about the same size, reach is about the same, but when you put like age and fighting style and
both of their last fights too, kind of go off of that. I'm gonna go Gomes by like dominant decision, because I feel like Karolina can hold her own for a little bit, so yeah.
Yeah, Karolina, without a doubt, she's tough.
Yeah,
but,
she is tough.
That could only last for so long, and then it's diminishing returns, your toughness.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, Gomes. I'm taking Gomes by finish. I think Gomes finishes her on the ground. It could be TKO or it could be like a submission, but I think Gomes is able to do it. Gomes, she's done a little side missions with the grappling.
Yeah.
And has gotten finishes against good grapplers. So we will see. We will see. But not a good fight for Karolina. The matchmaking is not good for her, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go like dominant decision, and I'm going to think that it's going to be almost like more of a boxing match than anything.